What is up, SnowTrax viewers? Super excited to be back here yet again with you guys. It's been 2 weeks. It's a little long for me. I wish we could do this every week, but we're back, and I have some awesome news to open up with right from the start. We have snow here in Ontario. In fact, my dad, Motorhead Mark, he has actually been out. I think he's got almost 200 kilometers on already, which is insane. We don't have enough snow to do that. But it's Mark, right? And his, I would say his motto in life is they make carbides every day. And that's the motto he lives by this time of year. So he's been out. I wish I could say I've been out, but we are finishing up dirt tracks. We're getting into starting snow tracks or continuing on starting snow tracks. So it's been busy, but I am going to get out before the end of the week. I am going to ride up and down that flat rail bed. Doesn't require a lot of snow, and I'm going to get out there. Just don't tell anybody because I'm not sure we're supposed to be out yet, but I just can't help it, right? I mean, we're excited. Everybody's pumped. So it's white outside. The lake's frozen. We're riding sleds a bit, and I'm pumped. I hope you guys are too. As I always do when we start these SnowTrax live series segments, I just want to shout out to Skidoo. They are the sponsor of this series, and we appreciate them coming on board for this. They are a great sponsor of ours, a great partner of ours here at SnowTrax, and we appreciate the relationship we've had with them for many, many years, and they've made this whole thing possible. So a little description as I always do as well. We are going to start off with the topic that's sort of centered around Skidoo. We can talk about anything we want, but yeah, we'll start off with something that has something to do with Skidoo, and then we'll go from there. So the topic, other thing, we may have a visitor on this one. I'm not sure. Somebody said they might stop in for a little chat, so we'll see if they do, but we'll see later. That'll be a little surprise. For now, though, let's get into the topic. The topic I've got for you guys today is crossover sleds. And anybody who knows me knows that I have a lot of thoughts when it comes to crossovers. So I'd like to start talking about crossovers or answer some of your questions, but if you guys want to ask some stuff about crossovers right now, I'm just going to give you my quick rundown before we get started. So crossover sled. Crossover simply means it's supposed to be able to do both, right? On and off trail. Multiple manufacturers have done multiple different things with that, including super narrow front ends with trail skid frames, and then trail front ends with mountain skid frames, and just all kinds of different combinations of the two. My opinion has always been, anybody who watches SnowTrax knows that a true crossover has to be as good on the trail as it is off. There are obviously compromises both ways, but you can't have a complete compromise in one way or the other, and that's something that I've always harped on with manufacturers, especially during test rides. If you're going to produce a crossover sled and it has a narrow front end on it that's mountain geometry and doesn't handle in the corners, that's not really a crossover sled. That's a short mountain sled, in my opinion. So first ones to do it right, in my opinion, was Arctic Cat when they brought out the what was it called? The Riot and the Riot X. They had two versions. They had a trail crossover and a mountain crossover, and that was really smart. That then went away, which was confusing. As we know, Polaris has always had the Assault, and we've praised the Assault for being the ultimate crossover for one major reason, because it truly is as good on the trail as it was off the trail, or is off the trail. But I will admit, and I've been told by many of you guys, that it's not as good off the trail, which means for some people who spend more time off the trail, it's not really the ultimate choice, and I get that. Skidoo has now come out. Well, Skidoo had the opposite problem. They had the backcountry, right, that was narrow in the front end. And I always harped on that one because while it was better off trail than the Assault, it wasn't as good on trail, and that's the crossover thing. You got to decide what you want to do. But now, as we all know, they've come out with two versions. So you can get the wide front end on your backcountry. Such a smart move. When Arctic Cat did it, it was a smart move. Skidoo's done it now. It's a smart move. And this season, Polaris is doing it too. So you can get a Assault with the narrow or wide front end. So it seems like Skidoo has reinvigorated that idea of having multiple versions of their crossover models to suit every riding style. This is the way to do it. This is smart. I applaud them for it big time, and I'm pleased to see that other people have latched on. So let's get started in these questions. I don't want to do my explanation any further, but that's my thoughts on crossovers. I'm going to ride one the end of this week because we have one, so I'm pretty pumped about that too. Let's see here. Shoot my shot 36. I'm shopping to get my teenage sons their first snowmobile. Considered Tundras, Bravos, and also some Formula 3 days. Which, if any, machines around 3,000 would you recommend? How old are your teenage sons? That's the most important question. You know, and how much experience do they have, and what are you going to do with them? Are they going to trail ride them? Are they just going to bomb around in the backyard? You really got to know all of these different things. Do they have snowmobile licenses? In Ontario here, at age 12, you can get a snowmobile license and ride on the trails, so that matters as well. So yeah, fill me on some of that. I'll try and follow up with that as I read down through here. Let's see. Fun from up north, 6808. Hard 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been a real hard 2 weeks. Life has not sucked. Fun from up north, should be alive on the sleds. That's not an awful idea. Hard to do, but maybe someday. Short shots, snow here in Michigan too. That is great news. Michigan needs snow this year really bad, so I hope you guys get absolutely dumped on. See, Michael Habata 3493. I've got my 5.6 on my new 600R. Breaking in the field. What's a 5.6? Anyway, I don't know. Let's go move on. JD Car Guy 1242. Epic season ahead. Yes, it is going to be an epic season. I'm so excited. And this start to it really does get people pumped up. When you look outside and you can see white snow, even if you can't ride on it, it just gets your blood pumping. It gets you thinking snowmobiles. And that's really, I mean, that's what we all want. We all want to be thinking snowmobiles. We all want to be riding snowmobiles. So when it looks like this outside, when I can look across that lake out in front of our office and it's just white the whole way across, I can't think of anything but snowmobiles. Well, other than getting my snowblower on my tractor, which I procrastinated in doing, and now I'm going to have to do it in the snow. That always sucks, but hey, these are the prices you pay for being late to the party when you're just too excited about snow. Brandon9916, looks like cold weather's here to stay. Cochrane is looking pretty good from the videos. Halliburton Wildlife looks good too. Yep, that's right. And up north in Ontario often gets a lot of snow real soon, so it should be pretty good. I don't know how to say your name. It's a whole bunch of random letters, but you said I'm 14 and 120 pounds. What snowmobile should I get? $2,000 budget, prefer a cat. Man, that's really hard to know right now. And the reason I say that isn't because there's not some options. It's because I don't really know what things are worth. And the value of those used sleds, especially in that $2,000 range, changes so rapidly. My suggestion always is, and my dad taught me this when I was little, and I still live by it, I think it's a smart suggestion, is buy kilometers. Obviously get the latest model, lowest kilometer sled you can get for your $2,000 budget. If it's a cat, get a cat. But the truth is, when you're shopping in that range, you're better off not to have a brand preference, because there might be a cat out there that you're just totally excited about that has, 8,000 miles on it. And then there might be a skidoo sitting beside it, same price, same general, CC, horsepower range, whatever, that's got 3,000 miles on it for the same money, and you should buy that skidoo versus the cat, or vice versa. So, while I get brand loyalty, and I love brand loyalty for you guys, I think it's awesome that you are. I think that when you're buying used sleds, you need to be real careful that you rein in that brand loyalty to get the best quality, the best condition, and the lowest mileage you can get. Fun from up north 6808. Define crossovers. I think I did that, but 3 years ago, a Renegade was a crossover. Well, a crossover is what anybody says it is, right? A manufacturer can say this is a crossover. They can say this is a crossover. So what do we define a crossover as? What do you define a crossover as? Everybody's different. In my mind, it has to be a sled, as I said, that can be as good on the trail as it is off. Or in the case of at least Skidoo and Polaris now, if you're going to have two models, you can distinguish those two models a little differently. You can make one more biased to trail and one more biased to off trail, because you have two to choose from, and you can serve both parts or both sides of the equation, which is really smart. Ron Kessloot 615, is the 146 now the true crossover? Yes, absolutely. A 137 or 136 is no longer a crossover. That's just a longer track trail sled. You can take those sleds into deeper snow, but more and more we're seeing that track length just being dedicated to what I would consider to be trail sleds. And if you're going to call anything a crossover now, it really is a 146. Though taking that one step further, some have tried to push 154 crossovers, and I think that's not a crossover. I think once you go beyond that and you install a mountain skid frame to get that length, Now that sled rides like crap on the trail. It doesn't handle right. Usually you're into 2.5-inch whatever or more lugs, so it's not very good when it comes to cooling. So yeah, that pushes it at a crossover territory as well and makes it sort of a numbed down mountain sled in my mind. But again, it's all what you think. What's your thoughts on the 650 Assault, Tim Rum 7? I think the 650 Assault's great. I mean, it depends on what you want. Do you need the horsepower? Don't you? If you only need 650, then just get a 650. It's still the same chassis, so it's still great. I'm losing these questions here. They're going so fast. Vincent Andrioli 38808. Do you think Skidoo will ever put a built-in battery tender port? And is there a specific ski that is good for both trail and off trail? I would like to see Skidoo put a built-in battery tender port or whatever their version of it would be. I think it's really smart that Polaris does that on all of their products now. I see no reason not to. The other kind of benefit to it would be, I think, it's more for long-term storage, but let's say, you had your sled plugged in overnight. If you have a sled with shot, that could be tending to the capacitor as well. So when you go to start your sled in the morning, you could use shot to start the sled because that being plugged in would have it charged up. So there's another thought for that one. Ski good for both trail and off trail. I'm really not the guy to ask for that because we don't mess around with a lot of different skis here at SnowTrax. We kind of just stick to the stock stuff. I haven't ever found a problem with stock skis to say that I needed to change from them to an aftermarket ski. I know some guys swear by certain models of aftermarket skis. I don't. I like stock skis. I think aftermarket skis oftentimes create a problem in one area or the other, or go too aggressive one way or not aggressive enough the other way. So yeah, even when you've got a sled, let's say like a Polaris, like when you had the Yamahas, right? Which we don't have anymore, but let's say you have a Yamaha and you had that tuner ski they had from way back. That ski was terrible. The best thing to do with that one was to get a stock Arctic Cat ski and put it on. That solved the handling problem of Yamahas back in that day. So yeah, stock skis are kind of my go-to. Jimmy6780, what do you think about the Lynx 146 as an ultimate crossover? What model? Yeah, what model? If it's got a trail front end, that's a crossover in my mind. If it's got a wide trail front end, then that's great. Ultimate crossover? What's an ultimate crossover, really? A backcountry XRS, Polaris Switchback Assault. Ultimate just means better parts, more horsepower. So in this case, anything can be an ultimate crossover if it's super high end, but as long as it's got a trail front end, that can be like a trail focused crossover. And if it's got a narrow front end, then it can be an off trail focused crossover. So yeah, it depends on what you want to do. What do we got here? Oh, Michael Habadad, 5.6 miles. Sorry, no problem. That's more than I got, so good for you. Let's see. 41 Atasiak, not enough snow in Equiliute for sledding yet. I can't believe it. I can't either, man. I thought you guys always had snow like 24/7, but I guess not. Oh, we got a guest here who's going to join us in a second. I better move over a smidge. Welcome to AJ.
What's up?
We've often talked about having AJ come on here before, but our schedules haven't aligned right, so this is the first time. He's got his Lynx oh, you have a Lynx jacket?
I heard you're doing a Lynx live cast, so I thought
Not
I'd come
today.
join.
This isn't the Lynx one, but
What's this one?
This is just, we're talking about crossovers. We're talking about everything. We're talking about crossovers.
Oh, you're wearing a Skidoo hat.
Yeah, they sent me a Skidoo hat, but that's a nice Lynx jacket. How come
I didn't prepare for Skidoo.
I didn't get one of those. Anyway, let's see, where are we at?
This is from like 10 years ago.
Speaking of Skidoo, last week you answered my question of best used sled for 10,000. Skidoo only? Which do you choose? I'm trail running 70% and river running with a dog 25%. I haven't yet seen a sled that has been listed as the perfect dog running sled, but 10 grand. What do you think? There's a lot of stuff out there for 10 grand.
10 grand's a lot of money. It depends on whether you're talking Canadian or American.
Well, that is true too, but yeah, I mean, you can buy like a really good late model sled for 10 grand. You're talking like what, 2018-ish?
In Canada,
In
definitely,
Canada, yeah.
sure.
So, like I said to, I can't remember who I was talking to before about buying new sleds. By year, by mileage, and by condition. Find a sled that hasn't been abused, has the lowest kilometers possible, and is the newest model. Try your best not to get too caught up in brand loyalty when it comes to used stuff. I understand it's really hard to do, but generally speaking, mileage, year, and condition, and then go ride it.
And double check the mileage.
And double check the mileage, yeah.
Make sure it's not spun, not a new Speedo.
Yeah.
I know you can do that. Skidoo is going to be better for that because of obviously DESS. You can't just put a new gauge on it, but there are some other brands that you can do that with. So definitely check the mileage, I would say.
Yeah. Jimmy6780, what would you think about manufacturers integrating a GoPro type system right into their technology? Explain that one a little better. If you're talking about having a GoPro mounted on the sled connected to your screen so you could watch the screen and watch the GoPro, I see like 150 different awesome uses for that. And none of them actually have to do with doing extreme stuff like rear view camera, front view camera, watching your suspension. There's 100 ways that could be cool. But it also could mean you'd be staring at your screen the whole time. And
if it's just recording
crash.
your ride, I guess that could be kind of neat. I know that if you buy a new Polaris this year, I'm pretty sure you get it's a GoPro 360 camera, I think.
Oh, really? For free?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's the reason right there to buy a new Polaris.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. They give you a memory card and the 360 cam.
Yeah,
but
right
yeah, I don't exactly know how you'd integrate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's lots of technology out there, but
if we start putting backup cameras on snowmobiles, the world has gotten far too lazy.
That's what I've wanted more
Far
than
too-
anything is a backup camera snowmobile. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be amazing.
Okay. I just hold on. Oh, that was too much work.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Rick 2012. All new or crap. Sorry, buddy, but I am not on board with that. I don't know why people make these comments, but that is not the case at all.
All new pickup trucks suck too. Just all crap.
The tunnel crap got to go. I don't know what that means.
Maybe that's all like the tunnel mounted stuff.
Oh,
links
maybe.
And
Yeah.
all those things.
People spend
The stuff that people love.
so much money on them and use them. Let's see. The LeBlanc group. On skidoo sleds with shot, the system uses a supercapacitor that mostly just sits there once it's charged. Elon Musk has talked about using supercapacitors for very short bursts of high power. Well, that's exactly what the supercapacitor does with shot, is it gives you a burst of super high power for a short period of time. What I was talking about earlier is if they put the charging plug, the 12-volt battery tender plug like Polaris has,
Yeah.
if you put it on a skidoo, it could trickle charge the supercapacitor. So when you went out in the morning, it would be ready to start. You wouldn't have to pull it.
Yeah, you could do that.
I mean, why not, right? But
yeah. But they're talking about like putting an electric engine in as well, so it's like a hybrid type motor, aren't they?
I don't know. I hope not, because that's not what I want at all.
That's going to add a whole lot of weight.
Yeah.
After going through this past week, I was actually at Taiga. I got to do their whole plant tour and go through the whole facility and see their electric snowmobiles. You ain't going to make an electric gasoline hybrid without adding like 100 pounds right now. So that's going to be hard. Yeah, probably more than that.
Yeah. That'd be on a budget.
Yeah.
Let's see. Teddy Flandro 3033. Be careful with Lynx this year. They're having a very hard time with shipping delays. Some customers have been waiting over a year for parts. Well, that's not something I've heard about at this point. I mean, we haven't needed any parts because Lynx are so freaking tough. But people do break stuff, and I haven't heard that. But if that's the case, then they're going to need to sort that out for sure. I mean, you sell a Lynx, it's supposed to be the hardest core ditch banger ever. You better have parts to support that. So hopefully that's not the case, or if it is the case, it's just in some areas and not everywhere.
Yeah. AJ, how was the Commander RE 900 TR Lynx rider? The Commander RE was pretty cool. I dug that sled. It was great. Definitely. I mean, we rode it it's like 8 months ago. But we put quite a bit of time on it.
Oh, it was 7,000 to 8,000 feet.
Yeah, there's going to be the shootout that hasn't come out yet, but it'll be out this winter. It's actually a great story. It's going to be a full 20 minutes on the show, so look out for that, and then it'll be on YouTube here. I found that sled to be really, really nice. I liked everything about it, except obviously Lynx at certain times can be valved really stiff. I mean, that thing has suspension on it that should be on a snowcross track.
It's true. But be careful, because whenever I've said that Lynx sled should come valved a little bit softer, people freak out.
They're not supposed to, because that's the way they are. It's just, if I was using that as a sport utility sled, I would say it's too stiff, because it's too stiff. And you, myself, and Mike all said it's too stiff.
Yeah.
I like the sled, and if you use it where Lynx snowmobiles are sold predominantly in Scandinavia, Finland, those areas, then it's going to be exactly what you want. Here, I do think North American valving might be a benefit for certain products. That
even
one,
just softer a bit. Just like 10% even, just to take the edge off, I think.
The high arched A-arms are really cool, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's like an off-road thing that came to snow, which is cool. Lynx did that. It's a great snowmobile. Works awesome. I just think that it definitely needs to be a little bit softer for that sport utility rider. I mean, if you're a sport utility rider riding a 900 turbo and you are ditch banging through 3-foot whoops, then you are a more hardcore dude than me. I just won't do it on that sled.
Maybe you do need that extra.
Yeah, I need. What do the Finn people call that I need more of? That special word that they have.
I don't know, and it sounds inappropriate. So I don't know.
It's probably a word that I can't even say properly, so I won't try. But
all right, let's see. Tim Rum 7219. Don't really need high horsepower at 50. I live in Western New York. I do not ride open lakes. I do ride open fields and trails. Also, what lug height would you recommend for the 650 Assault? 650 Assault, you're probably better to stick to like the 1.6 if you're not going to be in super deep snow.
I think they have a 1.5 on that too.
You can get a 1.5, yeah.
With an ice rip, can't you? Or is that just skidoo that you can get an ice ripper on?
It's so hard to keep
Skidoo
track
has
of
so
all
many
these
track
choices.
options.
Yeah. Like the 650 Assault can pull the big track if you want to. It's not that it can't. I mean, it's 140 something horsepower. It's
I rode
good.
the 600 VR1 today on like 8 inches of fresh snow.
Yeah,
650 VR1.
Yeah, so I mean, go with what's best. But the problem when you go 2 inches, if you're going to ride trails, you can end up with cooling problems, and that's just not really worth it if you're not going to be in the deep snow all the time or be in extremely deep snow. So I would suggest sticking to a more reasonable lug height, and if you can get a pre-studded, just get a pre-studded.
See, like Skidoo offers the 1.5.
Their track.
It's
their special track.
Yeah, the Ice Ripper or Ice Cobra. No, not Ice Cobra.
It's their own name. It's a weird name.
But it's a 1.5, and it's a really nice track. Pre-studded.
With cupped sides.
That is the perfect track that should be on that snowmobile, but I'm thinking Skidoo has rights on that one, and rightly so, because it's an awesome track.
Let's see. This is not a Skidoo question, but we can answer it anyway. XC9R or VR1 Dynamics, which handles better? Well, you better stay tuned. We have an entire segment coming out on this, basically this same topic about what's the difference. Because Polaris has tried this year to delineate further the XCR from the VR1 by making the XCR more aggressive, leaving the VR1 the way it is. We have our thoughts on that, which will come out in the story. I'm not sure it's the world's best idea, but there are ways to circumvent it as well with parts from the dealership. But I'm not going to give away the answer to that one because it's too important and it's coming out early on in the season, so you'll just have to stay tuned. I can say this: both are pretty awesome.
Yeah,
they have their place.
There's first couple episodes of SnowTrax, you're going to see a big story, and it's good. It'll help explain.
Alex Hay 802. Haven't been on a snowmobile in 20 years. Looking to buy a new sled. What would you recommend between a 2024 Indy XC 650 137 with 7S or 2026 MXZ Adrenaline 600R? Polaris is $4,000
less.
Polaris, I'm sorry, but yes, I would recommend the Polaris.
For 4K, I would.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that with the XC, you can get the 7S. With the Adrenaline, you can't get the 10.25. Yeah. So I think you're better off to go with the XC. It also, I mean, just to be perfectly blunt, the 650 is a better motor. It's got more bottom end. It's got more top end. It's just an overall better motor in that class. Not that the Adrenaline isn't a great sled. It is in every way. But if you're going to save $4,000, get a 650 and the 7S, I mean, that's a no-brainer in my mind. And it might be a lesson for Skidoo right now to just say, hey, maybe there's a bit of a value quotient you need to raise in that group there. I don't know.
Yeah, and 650 versus 600, like, you know what? There's a lot of things that Skidoo does better than Polaris. There's some things that Polaris does better than Skidoo. I'd say the 650 motor is a better motor than the 600R. And it's just because it's got 50 cc's more. When Skidoo comes out with a 650R, or hopefully what they come out with a 670, because I want a 670 HO throwback. Bring that.
I talked about that last time. I was complaining about it.
I said it to engineering last month.
That's
I told them, I was like, you've got to bring 670 HO. Bring it on. But when they bring that motor, guess what? We're going to say, hey, Polaris does some things really good. Skidoo does some things really good, and the 670 is better than the 650. So maybe. It's going to be a horsepower war.
We'll see.
Bring it on. 670 HO all the way.
Right.
I love that old sled.
Jimmy 6780. Just for recording the ride adventure for future viewing is what I meant. Yeah, I mean, hey, there's you don't need to integrate your GoPro into the technology of the sled to make that work. You can run a power cable from your USB plug and keep. Well,
you're probably saying like if on the 10.25 it just had like a go button where it's like the GoPro symbol and you just hit record. And then it runs off the battery. You don't have to do anything. It's there. And
there's literally no limitations to what they can do with these screens. I mean, Polaris with the 7S, when they wouldn't put the hot grip output on the gauge, I was like, how hard is it to make a hot grip widget? Seriously, like a guy sitting in a room could do that in 5 minutes, and they wouldn't do it. And then finally they did, and it works great.
The reason they won't do it is because GoPro probably wants too much money.
That's right. Actually, that's a really good point.
They won't do it because it's a licensing thing, and so it'll come down to no, we're not going to put somebody else's brand.
Oh, this one's going to be this is going to be tight.
Oh, I can see it.
Is the Dynamics better than Smart Shocks?
They do things very differently. I sat with the entire room
Yeah.
of skidoo engineering 2.5 weeks ago. Like, I'm talking everybody. They were all there. I just got to stand in front of them all, and they got to ask me questions, and it felt really,
Well, that'd be fun.
yeah, it was kind of like, you know, I felt very, very nervous during that one because there's this whole room of very smart engineers, but they walked me through the differences between the two. And obviously, Skidoo's going to say their system's better. Polaris is going to say theirs is better.
Yep.
Skidoo's does have far more sensors that are more precise. They're able to read things more. They're able to respond to things in a more precise way. You can't argue with that because a central thing, an IMU in the middle of the chassis, is not going to be as precise as a shock sensor. It's just not. Now, Polaris does all 4 shocks. So,
and
that's something that I find benefit to.
Seat of the pants feel.
It does work
find
pretty darn
dynamics seems to affect the sled more than SmartShocks does.
Although I will say, the sled this winter, I got to ride it last winter, that I actually felt that it did an impressive, really good job. We have one outside, is the Renegade XRS, with SmartShocks, the 900 Turbo R. I found on that turbo motor, there's something about maybe the weight of the 4-stroke. There's something about maybe the weight balance. I don't know what it is, but on that sled, I actually found, I was like, this is as good as Dynamics on the snowmobile.
Because that sled is essentially a Mach Z when it came out. That's basically what a Mach Z was.
Yeah, but it had that like 1-inch lower thing, and it just.
But it was still, I mean, it was a Turbo R, Renegade. It'd be interesting. I haven't ridden it yet, so I don't know. But
it was the best iteration of SmartShocks that I found, and a sled that I said I would actually want SmartShocks on the snowmobile. I like it. So.
Okay, there's a couple funny ones here. Do you and your brother line up all the brands 850s, NA, and turbos plus 9R, and what usually wins on Kevlar Lake? That's Jody Turcotte's 4602.
He knows about Kevlar Lake.
Yeah, we actually, when we go riding on Saturdays, we kind of do that. But like as far as going out and just being like, let's drag race today, we never do that. I just don't care. I don't care about which one's faster at the end of the lake.
Well, no, we have done it out on the lake,
but it was like we had to because it was such a, like everybody's asking. But to me, I just really don't care. But this year, I'm hoping we can do something like that because we do have all 3 850 NAs. For the first time, we have an 858 Arctic Cat coming, so we can actually do that. We do have a 9R also.
It's pink though, and it has a leopard print.
With the Arctic Cat? Hey man. Yeah. My first tech vest when I was racing snowmobiles was pink, and so was yours, and we're still here, so I think we'll be all right. Okay, let's see. This is a good one. Oh, Lynx Rider. If Mark was on the show, it would go into overtime with the first 2 questions. 100% yes.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, it would be overtime in like 5 minutes. Talk. Yeah, for sure. How much for that Lynx jacket, AJ?
Oh, that's actually the first year that Lynx was going to come to Canada, and then they decided not to. And I was at the Lynx factory over in Rovaniemi, and I said, "Hey, can you guys hook me up with a full set of gear so that I can go home and have Lynx gear on a Lynx sled?" They were like, "Yeah, for sure we can." And then they didn't send any Lynx over, so I have that suit. It still has the tags all on it too. I have the pants and everything.
Have you seen that movie, Sisu?
Sisu.
Oh, it's so brutal.
Sisu. No, that's the word that he's saying. That's the one that I couldn't remember. It's Sisu.
Oh,
that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, isn't that like the awesomeness, like the macho-ness? And
well, I don't know. The movie is just about a guy killing everybody, so I'm a little worried about it.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, as long as they're bad people. What do you see as your main competition?
And how do you try to position yourself to set yourself apart from this competition? Okay, here's the thing. I don't care about our competition. I don't. We're just here to do the best that we can do. We do this because we love doing it. Even if our competition outclassed us, we'd still do what we do because we still love it. The fact that we are as blessed as we are to be in the position we are in this industry as far as our media entities go is, I think, a direct result of the fact that this isn't just something we do because it's fun to snowmobile and because we have the ability to talk on camera. We do this because we absolutely love going snowmobiling, and the being on camera part is just like, oh, this is cool. I get to tell people about it, right?
Yep.
So if all of this went away, we'd still be snowmobilers. We'd still be out there, not on new stuff, but
yeah, I try to do the best, like you're saying, the best at what I can do in the best way possible, and let the cards fall as they may. Mm-hmm. I mean, when we first started doing this though, back in 2007 or 2008. I used to go online and I'd check everything, and when somebody was ticked off about something, I'd go home and I wouldn't sleep at night, and I'd be like, man, this guy said this about this. And then, my wife said to me, she's like, how many people said that? I was like, well, it was like one dude who was like harping on this one thing. And she's like,
you mean viewers?
Yeah, he was on YouTube usually, but somebody would reply with something that was just really way off base. And she just kind of looked at me. She's like, he's probably sitting in his mom's basement and doesn't even own a snowmobile. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, I just got to focus on what we do best. And it doesn't mean we don't take everybody's comments seriously. We do, as long as they're serious comments. But the ones where it's like, hey, every snowmobile sucks. You guys are idiots. It's like, cool. Delete, block.
There's a certainly, because of the passion involved in what we do, and because this is a passion project for us at the basic level of it, it is hard when people want to get in your face about the things you say or what you say, or in my case, the fact that I don't have any hair. People used to give me crap about that. Like, I know, right? I mean,
it's too much testosterone.
Does that make me a bad person? Or, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I know you are a bad person, actually, because of that. Yes.
Yeah. You have to say it, my brother. But like, I just decided, I mean, let's just do this for fun, right? Let's let people who are upset be upset. Let's let our competition do what they do. And, you know, I talked about this last time we were here too in the media. Somebody asked a question about how does the media get along. We get along better than we've ever got along. There's a lot less of us now than there ever was, like by a lot.
Things are changing.
Yeah. So we try and be friendly with everybody, because at the end of the day, we really are all in the same business. We're all trying to do the same thing. And I like to think we're doing the best out of anybody, because it's my thing and this is what I'm doing. But I also see a lot of things our competition is doing and say, hey, that was really good.
I look at our biggest competition as not even competing with us. I think that the guys out west from Snow West are doing an awesome job, and they're wicked dudes, and they ride mountains. We used to try. We've realized that is not our niche. That's not our forte. We'll go ride in the mountains if we're asked to, but it's just we're flatland guys. We love it. We love going out and playing in the flatland powder, maybe the foothills and stuff like that. But leave the mountain stuff to the mountain guys. Snow West doesn't go out and do a whole bunch of flatland test rides, because that's not their niche either, and they're no good at it. It's not what they're into. So I think that it's great that they're doing awesome at what they do, and we're gonna keep doing what we do. So
let's see, Brian Falsini 6092. You guys should do a roadkill version of SnowTrax, something like Trailkill, and you head out on some really old beaters that you have to wrench on.
We should.
Neat concept. So we did a few years back. Actually, it's a lot of years back now. We did some vintage stuff. Yeah. During that time, it was because we actually had a lot of space on the show we needed to fill up, and so we had open segments, and there was so we just did some fun stuff. Right now, our season is really full of content this year already, so we don't really have a space to do that, but I am going to throw out this idea because it's an idea I had, but we're looking at maybe having somebody help us out with some stuff like that so we can get it on the show. I think it'd be really great. I hate the fact that we can't do it because AJ and myself and Mike are so busy all the time. But I know you guys want to see it. So we're trying to figure out ways that we can get that content to you guys without sacrificing, the quality of the show, which is our first priority, really.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure you've already talked about this before, but people sometimes come on, they're like, how come you guys don't do this? How come you don't do that? Or you guys are just paid for. And it's like, shock. Yeah, we are, because we have to make a living. I can't go out and have a 9-to-5 job and do everything that we do, because I'm like 8 to midnight working on all this stuff. It's so busy. So we are paid for. Yes, we are. Absolutely. I'm wearing a Skidoo shirt. They've sponsored these segments, but we're still going to tell you the truth. We're still going to tell your honest opinion.
And the thing is, this is the point I always try and make to everybody, is that we're paid by all of them.
Yes.
So it's not like Polaris pays us and Skidoo and Arctic Cat doesn't, or Lynx. They all pay us, and I said this, you're right, I did point this out on another episode. I said,
they're all sponsors.
If I say in a shootout that Polaris wins, Skidoo and Arctic Cat are mad at me. And if I say the Arctic Cat wins, Skidoo and Polaris are mad at me. And if I say the Skidoo wins, the other two are mad. So it doesn't do us any good financially to pick a winner. It doesn't help us in any way.
No, it usually hinders.
Yeah, like no matter what we do in an industry of 4 players with Lynx, picking one winner makes 3 people upset, and they're all our customers.
Always.
So yeah, we pick winners because we know that's the most important thing, and we're not willing to sacrifice our opinions for anybody, for any reason, for any amount of money. But
what's cool though is when afterwards, when you've picked a sled that's like, this one is head and shoulders above the rest, and then like 2 or 3 years later, you're sitting down with a manufacturer of a different brand, and they go, yeah, we know, we've changed this, and they admit to it afterwards. That's pretty cool when they see it, and they're like, we knew that. We had to hassle you guys though. We had to hold the fire to your feet and see if you would actually change your mind, and you didn't, and so that's kind of cool. There's a question on there: does Canada have game wardens who ride the trails to enforce the laws of the trails like we have in America, or how do people treat them? We actually just have cops out on the trails. So
sometimes,
the police actually go out. They have snowmobiles and they ride on the trails when they can.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll just pull up to wherever there's a crossing, and they know that it's popular, and they bring 2 cruisers up, and they just stand there with like a radar gun, because they have to have 2 people, right?
No. Well, there's
So they can
another
haul
reason.
one guy away?
Because anytime they go out on a recreational vehicle, boat, ATV, watercraft, or snowmobile, it's overtime.
Oh, really?
So if they're not allowed to do overtime, then they can't do that. But if they're in their car, that's their regular shift, so they can meet at a crossroads.
Oh, okay.
Interesting, eh?
Cool.
Yeah. So our government isn't paying enough to go out and enforce trails.
Well, we need more police, in my opinion. So
I agree.
yeah,
Okay.
I like being safe. And then there was the one fellow on there did say he was looking for like a 10-second shot of like more power, like a 911 has.
Yeah.
But that's I believe that would require an electric motor. It's not that. It's not just like the starting system that they use like the capacitor for. So I don't think you could do that without adding some weight.
No. Let's see, where are we?
What do you prefer for off-season, fogging or starting every 2 weeks or so throughout the off-season? That's
Somebody asked me that last time too, I think.
Yeah, you know what? My opinion is if you got a skidoo, run the system they have in place because it does it for you.
That's right.
And it's a great idea.
Yeah.
If it's any other brand,
and your warranty is intact if you do it their way. And they can tell.
it probably records it on the computer. So
sure it does.
I like the way that the E-TECs do it. If it's any other brand, I would probably say go out and start the thing and run it just because, you want to keep that oil moving around too. And
although Polaris has their own process, it's all online about how do you winterize your sled, and it includes fogging.
Yeah.
And they have their own fogging oil. So I would say my opinion is this: do whatever the manufacturer says. Just do whatever they recommend, because if you ever have to go back or there's a problem with your sled, and you can say, I did it the way you said to do it, then you're never in a position where you gotta lie to them or it's not true. So yeah, probably just do whatever your manufacturer says. Sell the Prophet 66. Full disclosure, I love starting every 2 weeks. Do you sit on your sled in your garage every 2 weeks in the summer and go run, run? Because I would, so I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I like the smell.
Scottishman 50. Do you still chat with Mike from Sled Addicts?
We've talked to him a couple times.
You dealt with him. I didn't.
Didn't you go on a trip with him?
Sled Addicts? Did I? Oh, I did. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Actually, he sent me a message the other day and was like, "Hey, let's get together again."
Yeah.
Oh gosh, my mind doesn't work like it used to.
Yeah. There was one up there higher up. Actually, it says, do you need to filter your opinions on sleds to retain access? If yes or no, how do you strike a fair balance in reporting reviews? These are probably the ones you skip over. I'm just reading the ones.
No,
that
one I would. Don't read that one. I would have answered. I like talking about that stuff.
We don't actually filter our opinions on sleds.
But here's the thing. Okay, this is really important.
I'm not going to say that a snowmobile is a piece of junk because I believe that there is no. Yeah, it's because we're the same person. Literally, there is no snowmobile out there made right now that is a piece of junk.
Yeah.
Every sled made today is actually a really good snowmobile. And if we look back 10 years, don't tell me, even the 400 Arctic Cat, it's still a great little snowmobile.
It had its place.
Yeah. Maybe it's overpriced, and I think Arctic Cat's going to address that. But it had its place. There's all these different sleds that are really good sleds.
And price is something that, to me, when I do my reviews anyway, price is a tack on at the end. It's like, hey, here's how the sled works. Here's what it's good at, what it's not good at. And if those things work for you, here's the price. So it's not really a judgment on the sled itself. That's a totally separate thing. It makes the value different, but it doesn't change how the sled performs. No. And I agree with you. I don't think that there's a sled on the market right now that truly sucks. I think that in the 80s there was, probably 90s. No, definitely 90s there was. But
2000s probably too.
Well, there was that fusion.
We don't use the F word. We don't use the F word.
But yeah, so I think that if you look at a sled and you stop trying to make the sled do what you want it to do, and you look at the sled for what it's capable of doing and what it's meant to do, so often that sled becomes a lot better than what your first impression was. And so often we look at a sled and say, well, it doesn't do this. And if you really look at it, it was never meant to do that. So is that really its fault? Not really. No. So yeah, no sled truly sucks. We try and focus on the positives as much as we can and sprinkle in some of the negatives. And if there's a lot of negatives, then the story starts to look.
There's another question up there. Why doesn't Skidoo make a 600 Ace Turbo R? You could get 600 R power out of a 4-stroke in the same weight, but with the reliability benefit. That's an interesting question. I think the reason they don't do it.
It wouldn't be the same weight, though. 2 strokes lighter than a 4-stroke. 600 2-strokes lighter than a 600 4-stroke. 600. And then you got to add a turbo.
Yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't be crazy heavier. Probably wouldn't be huge heavier, but it'd be
the same as the 850 versus 850 turbo.
Yeah, I mean, you're still gonna be heavier. Yeah. You're lopping a cylinder off though on that one, right?
Yeah, but 600R 2-stroke is a 2-cylinder, and so is a 600 ace.
Yeah,
two-cylinder.
exactly.
So
but it's going to
two-cylinder, two-stroke, two-cylinder, four-stroke. The four-stroke's heavier. Then you add a turbo to make the horsepower. You got even more weight.
What he's saying is, if you lop off a cylinder, you're going to gain a bunch of weight. You're going to benefit to the weight. So
Yeah.
I agree. I think the reason they wouldn't do that probably is because they have so many engine options right now.
Yeah.
And it's after talking with engineers and people at Skidoo, it's really expensive to design a new motor. It's not like, hey, we're going to make a Turbo R, throw a turbo on it, let's fire it up, let's do it tomorrow. They got to go back through the whole thing. I'm pretty certain they didn't make a 600 ace to handle a turbo, so they would have to go back and strengthen
They went
things.
through the 3-cylinder, and there's a lot of differences between the 3-cylinder non-turbo and the 3-cylinder turbo.
Yeah.
They're not really the same motor inside and out, so it costs a lot of money to tool up all those parts to make it
It's not as stressed as a 900 Turbo R, so like the internals are not going to be as strong. So to do that, they'd have to go back and retool it, and I'm going to say probably they're looking at it going, we don't need that many SKUs. I don't think it's a bad idea, though. I think it's a cool idea. That would be interesting.
People would probably buy it.
I'd love to test one.
Let's see. Matt Sariel 6349 Backcountry XRS 39-inch Pilot DS2. You guys find it darts, and if so, any suggestions on how to fix it? It does dart. But that's because it's a 39-inch front end, and they just do. I mean, it's got narrower A-arms. It's got different bits and pieces that are not meant for specific on-trail handling or anti-darting capabilities. They're meant to be 39 inches wide. So this is what I talked about earlier, is that there's that trade-off. If you want a crossover sled that is awesome on the trail, then you're going to buy the 42.5-inch or 43-inch front end for your backcountry. But if you're the kind of guy who's like, I only use the trail to get to the off-trail spots, then you're going to buy the 39-inch. You're going to put up with the darting on the trail because you're willing to put up with that compromise. But there's always a compromise.
Crazy that this much makes that much of a difference.
It truly does.
It's wild.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when they went from their 34 to 32-inch front end on their mountain sleds on the summits, it's like that much. And my goodness, that 32 in the mountains is unreal.
Crazy.
Works so good.
Hey, the signs aren't on. I should have turned those on.
When you guys go on a Saturday morning trail run, who leads, Luke or AJ? Actually, no, that's a funny question. We both do. Neither of us care.
Yeah.
You know, it's generally who knows the trail better.
For the longest time, it was Dad.
It was Dad,
even into my 30s, it was always Mark who's like, I know where we're going. We're going to put on 7,000 miles today. And, you know.
But you know what? One of the reasons there's two reasons I let him lead all the time.
Because he knows where he's going.
Because he knows where he's going, and I didn't have to think about it. I could just enjoy the ride. And two, there's like a respect level there. Like,
for sure.
Like he's the man, and he can lead.
Yeah.
Now though, he actually likes following us. He doesn't. Yeah. He likes to follow us and not lead. So when it's between AJ and I, it really depends on where we're going, and I don't really care if AJ's in front of me. I want us to make this point though, because it's an interesting point, something I think is cool. If I have to follow people, there are only so many people I can follow and ride fast. I can't follow just anybody and ride really fast. I can follow you, and you and I can ride as fast as we want to ride, as hard as we want to ride, and I can be right on your bumper.
Within the legal limits.
Of course, within the legal limits. But because I know exactly what you're going to do. I never wonder. When AJ goes into a corner, I know what he's going to do. I know he's not going to do something dumb. I know when you're going to brake. I know when you're going to be on the throttle. And likewise with my dad for years, you know, I could put my ski up his tunnel and just like ride that way because I knew exactly what he was going to do. I have a couple friends like that, 2 maybe.
A couple
3,
who aren't like that.
And then I have a couple of friends who I'm like, you go all the way ahead.
Well,
and I'll dig you out of the ditch later.
And there's those days where you're just like, you know what, we're going to go on an easy ride today because I know if we push this, somebody is going to find the rhubarb, and we don't need that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Well, we've been there.
Jimmy G 6780. Cool. Thanks, man. I think you guys are the best for snowmobile info. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. One of those things I try to tell people when I see them in person, and you know, you're walking through Costco and somebody's like, "Hey, man, is that you on TV?" And you know, things like that happen every once in a while, and it's just that we don't get to do what we do without you guys watching. So we appreciate you tuning in, checking out on YouTube, watching on network TV. All of these things allow us to live the life that we live. So we really appreciate you guys watching, coming on for live feeds, and
all we want to know
your time here
is that you're enjoying watching it, and that hopefully it's helping you make good buying decisions. That's all that matters. This is an interesting question. Neil Rusher 8017. You guys have amazing access to BRP and their engineers, sales, etc. Why does Polaris and Arctic Cat not give you that same sort of in-depth access? They do.
They do.
Really, and this is a little behind the scenes for how we do things, but
stepping on that, it's making the thing bounce.
I have ADD. I can't help it. When we start our season, we sit down with our partners, so Polaris, Arctic Cat, Lynx, and Skidoo, and we say, hey guys, Taiga, we have some space on the show that we're going to do some stories for you guys. let's have a powwow about what stories we're going to do. You give us ideas, we'll give you ideas, and then we come up with a plan for the season. So sometimes somebody like Skidoo or a company like Skidoo might be more focused on telling the technical stories of their company, whereas Polaris might be more focused on telling the personal stories of their company. So that's really the only reason that it would seem that way, but we have just as much access to the Polaris, Arctic Cat, and Lynx engineers as we do the Skidoo guys. It's just Skidoo is focused a lot.
I will say this year, Skidoo did open up.
Yeah.
Like, I got the golden ticket. Like, literally, I bought the right chocolate bar, and it had the golden ticket. I got to go into Skidoo R&D this year. And I know people are like, oh, whatever, you got to go into R&D, cool. It's like, no. Like, there's people within that building who don't get to go into that area. Like, it is top secret and super, super restricted. I got to walk right in. They were pulling sheets over certain things and covering stuff up. And I was like, this is so cool. I feel like I'm on the inner sanctum.
We've
I got to
been
see
in
like,
there, the design
dyno
center, right?
rooms. No, this was like R&D.
Oh,
all the dyno rooms lined up. You should see this place. Literally, if you told me that we were at like Ford Motor, Ford Motor Company, if you told me they were there, like I would have believed you. It was so high tech and so cool. And the rooms, like they can chill everything down to like whatever minus degrees they want, and they can bring it up, and they can make the fuel cold, and they got like 19 different fuels.
That trip you went on was basically the same trip I went on at Lynx, but it was with Skidoo because I got the same access at Lynx as you did to all these rooms where I walked into a room and we had like Jake was there with the camera. And this guy's like looking at his boss, like, is this okay? And his boss is like, calm down, son.
we had people run up to us while we're there, and they're like, you can't have a camera here. And the other people, the higher ups at Skidoo, they're like, no, it's okay. We're allowed to be here. I was like, man, this is cool. You know you're somewhere cool and somewhere very exclusive when that stuff happens. It doesn't happen to us very often. Like that's kind of, it was fun. But I got to see so much. You got to see so much. Between the two of us, we really know Skidoo, and Skidoo opened up those doors this year. And that's one of those things that every once in a while, Polaris will do it. I'm sure in the future, Arctic Cat's going to do it.
I did that story on Polaris, the ATVs, 2-3 seasons ago, where they took me into the same place for them, but in ATV. And like, I saw stuff, and he was like, oh, please don't tell anybody about that.
Because
I didn't.
Because it's off season. You saw stuff when you're there for dirt that is snow, and they're like, oh, we forgot you guys do that as well. This is something that you might...
I guess the most important part of that story is that when we do see that stuff, we don't break trust, because that doesn't do us any good. As much as you guys would love to know all of the deep dark secrets that no one's allowed to know, that hurts us, and in turn that ends up hurting you because they won't work with us anymore. So we keep those secrets. Let's see, there was a good comment here. Brad I9Y7E, great show, guys. Question though, any info on Snow Flap? I need 2 shows. Mark has got 4 of them all planned out. He's going to be shooting them, I think, this week or next, and then they'll be uploaded. I'm not sure when, but they're going to start airing. But he's going to have 6 of them to start right off the bat. They will be, at the first 6, they will be Polaris centered, because like this is brought to you by Skidoo, Snowflap will be brought to you by Polaris for the first 6 episodes, and then he's just going to go free with whatever he wants after those 6. But they are coming up soon, and I will let you guys know here, and we'll let you know on all of our socials when it's ready to go. But it is coming.
Polaris Profit or the Sell the Profit 66 says, yes, I do sit on
in the summer,
in the garage in the summer. Yeah, nice. There was one in there that I thought was the Fusion was so bad. You know what's funny? The Fusion 600 wasn't as bad.
The Fusion, I said this actually.
The 900
probably a week ago.
was a pile of you know what, and it was no good. And when they sent us the fix with those foam foot pads to get rid of some of the vibration so that it isolated it,
that was the solution. Not fix the vibration. Make it so I can't feel it.
That was interesting. But the 600 wasn't that bad.
The 600 was slow, but it handled really good. It was comfortable.
It was fine that way.
Yeah, it rode pretty well. This is.
What do you think the next big innovation in snowmobiling will be over the coming years? Ooh, that's the LeBlanc.
Somebody asked that last time too. I can't come up.
The LeBlanc group from Sudbury area. I'm pretty sure that's. Yeah, ridden with, I think if that's who it is, LeBron Group, because they sell real estate. I think that's who that is. And if it is, ridden with him. Cool. Okay. Right on. Yeah.
You have a lot better memory.
On some Polaris. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. I retain information that is just.
That's a question that we've been asked before, and it's really hard to answer. And the reason it's hard to answer is like innovation, 650 Skidoo. But like innovation in terms of what's going to change snowmobiling, I don't know, man. I mean, when I look at the snowmobiles we ride today, there's so little I can think of that could be improved or changed. I think there's going to be a lot of technology that comes out. I think there's going to be a lot of engine technology that changes things. But as far as like are we going to change the snowmobile as we know it? Is it going to be a different thing? No, it's going to have 2 skis and a track. It's just always going to have that.
I hear a lot, like there's things, say Sea-Doo, with the Spark, right? They went to this composite hull and they saved people a bunch of money and delivered something at a low price point. There's always going to be riders who want to ride the Primo sled and are willing to pay for it. There's always going to be truck buyers who are going to buy the Lariat or the Platinum or the, whatever it might be from people who drive Chevys. Those vehicles. I think we also need to have the really entry level, easy access, lower price point sleds too. So I think it's going to be cool to see if there's some way for that Spark type idea.
But you know what?
To come to
I actually had this. I think it was maybe 3 episodes ago we talked about this. The problem is that in the industry they've done that.
They have for sure, but I think it's a different time.
Didn't sell. We've got the Skidoo 600 EFI. It's not selling.
Yeah.
We got these sleds that are like entry level and are truly great deals, and people aren't buying them. So is it the problem that they're still not cheap enough, or is it that customer isn't as plentiful as we think it is, or is it that it's just too easy to go buy a really good used sled for the same money? Because that's what I think the problem is.
That could be a problem too. I think it's also hard for people to get out and try snowmobiling. Yeah. It's not an easy thing. Like, go to the ski hill, here's all your rentals. You need to show up with snow pants and a jacket and a toque. You have to know somebody, or you have to be able to go somewhere where they rent. Very few places rent, although there are some great rentals popping up now. And that's one of the tough things, is for you to be able to rent a snowmobile and get out and do it. But when you do rent a snowmobile, it's like, well, I'm going to need a helmet, I'm going to need a snowmobile suit, I'm going to need all of these things. I'm going to need
insurance and a trail pass and a trailer and a truck.
Well, if you rent it, there's some rentals, who are really good that way and will deliver your stuff. So I think that's a tough thing. I don't want to see like loads more electronic tech. I want to see the next engineering breakthrough be something that's chassis wise or suspension or something mechanical. I would love to see more mechanical innovation and less, hey, we put a screen on it. No, don't get me wrong. I do like screens now, and I find them actually functional, and I think they're useful. I think electronic shocks have their place for the people who want them, and I do think they do improve your ride, and they're a good product. But I think the next thing, like, don't put too much technology on these things. Make it still a snowmobile that you interact with. I don't want this thing to have like Tesla drive by itself. That's not snowmobiling. It's got to be, power steering on the Arctic Cat 600 this year. We're going to get one of those. They're shipping it to us right now. I'm interested to see how that feels. I know we've ridden Skidoos in the past that had one at one point, and there's an aftermarket company that does that. I kind of want to see how that feels, but I don't want too much technology on my snowmobile. I want the next breakthrough to be, in my opinion, suspension, or see another manufacturer do something like E-TEC, come out with the next, like,
well, that's
what's the next coolest motor? Because Skidoo,
and speaking of next coolest motor, I mean, it's not a new development. It's nothing truly, revolutionary. Yeah. But Polaris with the 9R did some things that nobody was doing in terms of like basically bench-built engines, lightweight crankshafts, like really lightweight, low inertia engines. Yeah, basically for the trail for people to buy, and that was really cool. It's not a new thing because it's a motor, and everybody has motors in their sleds, but it was just kind of like that. Let's take this to the next level that nobody has quite pushed past, and it turned out to be a huge win. So I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know, but I hope it's suspension handling. That's all I really care about these days. Our engines are so good right now in terms of power. I want suspension.
Do you remember when we were at Heydays that one year and that guy had that front suspension that would actually like...
Oh, yeah. It was like an Indy car.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that's the answer. Obviously, it's not. Because
internal shocks that were horizontal.
Yeah, super weird, super different. But I'm just saying, I mean, when the Rev first came out, it blew everyone's mind. And I mean, okay, so the beaver tail is kind of like an F word. It's something that we don't talk about too often.
That wasn't the Rev. It was just an aspect of it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like that whole thing blew everyone's mind. Now, I know Polaris came out with was it called Pro Ride rear skid in the Rush, right? In the Rush.
First Rush.
And that was pretty outside the box and outside the box thinking. I think maybe it was before its time.
So here's my thoughts on that, because it's really interesting. The Rev came out, and I know people are going to freak out when I say this, but it's totally true. And it was like, it was revolutionary, right?
For sure.
But what it was revolutionary for was it was revolutionary because it showed us that rider forward design works. Yes. It actually wasn't a really great sled. It was uncomfortable, and it kind of lifted its inside ski like crazy.
First rev?
Remember how bad your knees had to be at an angle? You had to sit in one position and you were like stuck.
It had some angling issue.
And
I thought it
on a
rode pretty
corner,
good.
it like lifted its ski. Like it wasn't as good as what we have now.
We're gonna start
But
fighting.
it showed us how important rider forward design was. Likewise, when the Rush came out with the Pro Ride, like it showed us that there's different ways to do things, but it wasn't better. I mean, that wasn't better than an in-tunnel skid, which is why Polaris doesn't win anymore.
If it was set up flawlessly for your weight, it worked really good, but it came with that. Remember that steel gauge that you held over the shock, and it's like, hey, if you're this weight, adjust to here. If you're this weight, adjust to here.
Mine didn't have that. There was no measurement on there. I was like, crap, I need a new piece of metal.
But it was like, who was going to take the time to crank that huge lock nut on there and do the whole thing? It's like nobody really did that. Now I know we switch sleds like
10 times a day,
way too much, but that's our job. The average person only needs to set it up once, I guess. But at the end of the day, if you said, hey, buddy, try my Rush, they got on it and they're like, this thing rides like crap. It's not very good. So,
well, the first year of Rush did ride like crap.
yeah.
But either way,
first year sleds traditionally have
I think it showed that there's technology out there that proves that the concept works, but the actual product itself isn't that great. But that doesn't mean you abandon the concept. It means you push to the next level. There's a lot of stuff out there like that where the first version, the Fusion actually is a great example of that. I mean, the Fusion had a backwards engine, which was the first time anybody done that, which was super low in the chassis. It had super, like, the engine was as close to you as it could possibly get. It didn't work, but it showed that there was an idea there that should work, and we need to pursue that. So
like belt drive is really cool. I wonder if like belt drive can come to trail maybe. I know that we've already talked about this in the past, and Skidoo's, discussed it, and Polaris has discussed it, and nobody's really done it for trail. Diamond drive was cool when it first came out, right? I mean, maybe it didn't always work perfect and it didn't go in reverse for the first little bit. But there was these things like that I don't know. I just want to see the next cool, not interactive breakthrough in a snowmobile. I don't want it to be something interactive.
Heads-up display, virtual reality riding.
Goodness no. No. Please do not put heads-up display in an oxygen helmet, Skidoo.
Tim Rum 7219. Do you think Arctic Cat should put the 4000 engine in the Catalyst chassis? Yeah, I want to answer that one next.
That's a dangerous question.
Okay, so should they do that?
It's a cool idea.
No, because the 4000 engine was dirty and it ran good full throttle, but it didn't idle right. It loaded up.
Isn't that
it
the
was
400 two-stroke?
Screamy. Oh yeah, it was like 12,000 RPM or something.
Do they not still make it?
I don't.
They got a Norseman with it, don't they?
With the 4000 and a Norseman, you have to run it full throttle all day.
I thought they do. I thought they still have it.
Is it not a small four-stroke?
No, it's the 4000.
Well, either way, that Snow Pro 4000 we had was like annoying, but it was a cool sled because it was like a boy racer sled, but the motor needed more torque. So do I think they should bring that motor back? No. Do I think they should bring a motor in that category back? Yes, I think they should.
He's saying putting it in the 4000. I think they still have it.
Putting it in the Catalyst, the 4000 Catalyst.
Honestly, it's a single though. It was a 400 single, was it not?
No, it's a twin.
Oh, was it a twin?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a
You're
single.
thinking of the four. Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about the single cylinder 400 or the ZR 4000 400? Because you're talking about the single cylinder 400 that's in the
narrow sled, the little one.
What are they called?
I can't remember right now.
Venom was the Yamaha.
Yeah, and then I can't remember what this. Somebody's gonna say it right now. Somebody's got to tell us what the name of that sled is.
It's gonna drive me nuts. Anyway,
I can see it.
If that's the one you're talking about, I don't have a clue. I don't know if that would be a good idea or a bad idea.
I think it would be interesting because
the Catalyst is not a cheap chassis. I know that from talking to the guys at Arctic Cat. The Catalyst is an expensive chassis to build. So if you put that engine in it and tried to say, hey, A, this is going to cost a lot of money, but it's cool, no one's going to buy it. Yeah. And B, it's, it's not feasible or, it doesn't have, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it would make a lot of sense. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the old, remember the 4000 twin? The ZR 4000?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one wasn't very good.
That one was crazy. That one was
bad.
like, it was so brutal, but it was funny and it sounded
Bring
cool.
back 800 mod Snowcross. 1000% agree, dude. Totally.
Heck, bring back 600 mod Snowcross. Bring back
favorite.
mod Snowcross.
I remember my Clear Hood ZX with twin
pipes. That's a hood I wish I kept.
I used to polish those pipes, even though they'd get dirty the first time we blew something up and needed to go do it. But I would do that just so we showed up at the racetrack.
Polish your pipe?
I would. It was. I used to just love that stuff.
Are we going to answer this one or not?
That's a dangerous question.
What has been your worst crash, not including Snowcross?
Jody Turcotte, 4602.
I've always wondered.
Dangerous question asker.
Being we ride so much. I've had a few. I've had more than most.
I'm staying quiet.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to let you know a little secret. This is. I think it's long enough down the road that it's not a big deal anymore.
Mine is not.
No, yours is very recent. But
I'm staying quiet.
we had the first prototype 600 E-TEC. There was like 4 of them in the world. And we got a limited build at the end of the winter, and it was very end of the winter. And I was out for a ride on it, came back. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay.
I mean, we bought it, so what difference does it make, right? But
True.
coming back through town, through an intersection, stoplight.
Blast. That's right. Blast was the sled.
Blast, that's what it was. And then the intersection had this weird curve in it, and as you know, snowmobiles don't steer. And there was a whole bunch of people in the other lane, not the turning lane, but the other lane, ready to turn right as I was going past. And I drifted into the turning lane. I was going to make the corner, but I was in the turning lane, and a guy at the last second in a Kia decided to go into the turning lane, and I hit him head on in the MXZ 600 E-TEC prototype.
I remember you calling me and saying I hit a car head on. I'm like, where? You're in an intersection. I'm like, were you going to the mall? Like, what were you doing?
Anyway, I dove off the sled. I didn't get hurt. The sled looked bad, but it actually believe it or
wasn't
not,
that bad.
we bought the sled from Skidoo. We fixed the sled, so it was right back to like perfect.
Yep.
And we sold it, and I think
Well,
the guy who bought it,
we had an actual Skidoo like licensed mechanic
yeah,
put it back together.
put it back
and rebuild
together
it,
for sure.
Did the whole thing,
And I
it was
think
good.
the guy who bought it's still riding it. But the interesting part about that story, and this is why I think we can tell it, is because that Skidoo we put back together and sold, it totaled the Kia. It did. It totaled the Kia. So anyway, that was my worst like accident, you know, like. But I mean, I've fallen off stuff. I've rolled down mountains. I've been in an avalanche once. Like,
Oh yeah, you were in avalanche. That was
we've
pretty
been
bad.
in a lot of weird situations, you know. AJ's. We're not going to talk about that.
Our knees.
Our knees are.
snowcross
Well, that was
racing.
snowcross. You want to know snowcross stories?
Oh, no snowcross. Okay, yeah.
Anyway,
When will the report come out on the Lynx Commander? That one is, yikes, probably sometime mid-January to mid-February is where that's going to be. So somewhere in there. I wish I don't have my list right in front of me.
Neil Rusher 8017. Thank God Arctic Cat was purchased. Do you know anything about what the new one owners want to bring to Arctic Cat, and if they are making sufficient investments to bring Arctic Cat to be truly competitive?
Yes.
Brad Darling. I mean, he was the guy back in like 2008, 2010,
Yeah.
who brought Arctic Cat back from. Remember the F chassis Arctic Cat, the big fat Jag, big ugly ones, you know?
Oh, so crash stories. Do you remember the I-500?
Oh, that's a race.
That
though.
would be, yeah, but that was wicked.
Yeah, AJ cartwheeled one of those things, a 500.
What was it, an F570?
F5. No, F5.
F5.
2-stroke. Cartwheeled one at about 80 miles an hour in the
Arctic
ditches.
Cat was like,
the
hey,
I-5.
all you guys from media come out and race the I-500. We'll give you a sled that's prepped by Arctic Cat Race Department, and you can go race it. And we're like, oh, sweet, we're going to have like 800s. They're going to be like mint. This is going to be awesome. And it's like, they're F5s. And we were like, oh,
Stock F5s.
okay. Yeah, with just race setups on them.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I'm ripping down in the ditches up to the approaches in Minnesota for the I-500. Or was it it was the I-500? Yeah. Or was it the Red Lake 500?
I think they were the same that year.
Oh, were they that year? Yeah, they were the same. Whatever it was. Anyways, ripping down a ditch line, and I hit this snowdrift that came out into the track, like the race line. And the thing started to just pitch me left and right, and I'm already duct taped wide open. There's nothing left of this 570, and the stupid thing was I was making good time on it too. I was picking up a lot of time. And this thing just starts doing tank slappers. I'm holding it wide open, and I'm like, well, I'm along for the ride. And it pitched back and forth so hard, and then all I remember was just sky, snow, sky, snow, sky, snow. I got tangled up in the sled. I thought I broke my knee, and I had the whole like dry heaving, air knocked out of me, worried I hurt myself. These dudes pull over in a Chrysler 300C, and they're like, man, dude. They're like looking at me, and they're like, are you dead? And I'm like, no. And they offered me a ride. It was like one of those.
Do you remember me riding by you?
No, we were racing the same sled.
No,
dude.
we weren't.
We
I was
weren't?
racing for
Oh,
SnowTrax. You were racing for
SnowTrax,
SuperTrax.
Yeah, I
I
was.
remember, and I'm
remember
coming
that
down this
I was
ditch
ahead
line
of you?
because you were, but it wasn't far from that last gas stop.
Oh man!
And so you were in the gas stop. You got into the gas stop
I think
ahead
you
of me.
stopped, but I don't remember much.
And I
after
pulled
that.
up, and I didn't stop. I was riding down the trail, and I like slowed right down and gave you the thumbs up. And you're sitting on the edge of the road like this, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Yep, thumbs up." And
Yeah.
I'm a bad brother. I just kept
No,
going.
I gave you the thumbs up. I actually
And
thought I
then
was going to die when I
The
was
next
in the car.
day, I had to race that bent sled.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Because
that
I
thing
raced
was-
one day for SnowTrax, the
The
next day
tunnel
raced for SuperDrags.
at the back was bent over to the point that the track was rubbing against the
And
tunnel.
we just put like come-alongs on it, straightened it. It
Yep.
was crazy. Anyway, that was a good crash. That
I
was
actually
probably one
saw
of the
that snowmobile at some show. The person had rebuilt it, put a new tunnel under it, and had all of our stickers on it and graphics.
Really?
It was really cool.
Well,
Yeah.
it needed a
They
new
bought
tunnel.
it. They told me they bought it from a salvage yard.
Probably where it went right after the
I
race.
should have.
Let's see. What do we got to talk about here? Here's an interesting one. Dave W8515. When following someone, is snow dust intake a factor for engine longevity? No. If you had no filters or anything, it could eventually become a problem. But the way sleds are built today, no snow dust is getting into your engine. I mean,
If a snowflake went in to a throttle body at like 8,500 RPM, I was told that if the snowflake actually made it in and contacted, that it will actually pit the head of a piston. I don't know if that's true or not, but somebody told me that at one
it will
point.
pit the head of a piston that's currently like 400 degrees.
I know. I don't understand how it would even not turn to liquid right away, but there's something about that. If snow gets directly in and there aren't any of those screens on it, that it can actually cause pitting. Maybe
This
that's
sounds
BS.
like the gum in your stomach story your parents told you.
That might be true, man. And you can't swim after eating, okay? I know that. No. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just something that somebody had told me, and they seemed to know.
Do you know what was a problem following people in snow dust?
Fogging your goggles and not seeing?
That. But do you remember? Well, you were pretty young then. But like in the early '90s, on like an Indy 400 or an Indy 650 with three carburetors, you'd be running down a lake full throttle, and the snow dust would all pile up under the hood and freeze the slides on the carburetor open.
And stuck.
And so you get to the end of the lake, and it was like, you're not stopping.
Yeah.
I can remember on my Indy 400, the first sled I ever had, coming down the end of the lake, and it happened for the first time, and I freaking panicked and like
Didn't
got
hit
off
the
the
kill
sled.
switch?
Oh, I did, but I was like, got off the sled, and Dad was like, "What's wrong?" I said, "That thing's crazy." Like, I was so scared. He explained to me what was going on, but that was a problem. We don't have problems with that anymore.
Hey, LeBlanc Group, it is. I think it's Darren. Yeah,
10
I knew
years
that.
ago.
10 years. It was 10 years ago. We did a.
He's got like a way better memory than I do. Have you guys ever had a sled or ATV have a catastrophic failure during the process of testing it? Oh, one or two.
You guys ever had a sled or do that? While testing it. Yep.
Not a couple.
Maybe more of them are older than newer. I do remember one time on, and this wasn't as much testing. This was when I was still in high school, but I used to ride sleds to school every day. You did too when you were there, which was kind of a cool experience in high school. And I remember coming back down the lakes because 5 lakes up from our house is the high school on the lake in Halliburton.
Hour bus ride, 50-minute snowmobile ride.
Exactly. I know which one I'm doing. So anyways, I'm coming down the lakes wide open on a Yamaha 700 SRX, and I'm ripping down the lake, and all of a sudden it's, and I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. So I stop, pull over. I'm like, well, it sounds like went down one cylinder, and I pull the plug caps off, and I'm undoing the one plug, and the bottom of it just disintegrates. And I'm like, that's not good. This is before cell phones, so I'm like 14 nautical miles from home. I'm in 2.5 feet of snow on a lake, and I'm a teenager. I'm not walking to a house. I'm just gonna see if this thing will fire back up. So boom, fire it back up on 2. It wasn't seized. I don't know how it wasn't, but it wasn't. Fire it back up, running home, and wide open on that thing as a whatever it was, a 5 something. And I got close to home, and it burnt down one of the other cylinders. And I was like, all right,
You
fine,
and I
I'm
have
close enough
similar
to
stories. I did the same thing to a ZR580 on the way to school.
Oh, that was a sweet sled,
Running
though.
full throttle down the lakes, and
Nice.
there wasn't a lot of snow. It was kind of like icy, but there was tufts of snow and everything. And I got way out on Cashag, right up in the middle, and it just went like that
it
and
just
stopped.
locked up.
And I was like, oh no. And same idea, pulled the plugs, and they're just gray.
Yeah.
But again, I'm out in the middle of the lake. I got nowhere to go. So I just put the plugs back in, fired it up, and rode it back. I rode it to
and it
school.
cooled
I didn't
off
go
and it
home.
went.
I kept going to school
Nice.
and called Dad when I got to school. I was like, I think I blew up the 580. And he's like, okay, and sent somebody to swap it for me. That's how Dad was, though. Like, instead of getting upset,
ATF
he comes up and he makes sure somebody brings me a sled so I can get home.
Nice.
Most dads would be
Nice.
like, you're walking home, but not our dad. He was great.
White is fast.
Yeah. There's also, we have a lot of stories. That I had a Prowler 1000 Arctic Cat side by side when the 1000 first came out. We got it off the trailer. It had 0 miles on it. I took it down the road, and it caught fire at the end of the road.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so that was
I don't even remember
catastrophic.
that.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Do you guys engage at all on Do Talk? When Tappa Talk was gone, so was I pretty much. We never really did. We had some pages on Do Talk, but we never really interacted there very much. And for one simple reason, we just don't have time. I mean, we have our own social pages that we have to monitor and we comment on, but I really don't have time during the day to sit around and go on forums and like discuss back and forth. I really wish I could. And I would love it if we had our own forum, but I know that's a whole different deal and nobody wants to do it but me. But
It's just, we don't want to do it. It's just we need the time. We need more. Can cloning?
Ask my wife. I don't know. New two-strokes don't sound as cool as they used to. That's because there's only 2 cylinders, not 3. Back when there was 3 cylinders, they sounded flipping amazing.
Yeah, but even old 2-cylinder two-strokes sounded better. I think that's because of EPA regulations.
Yeah, they were louder.
They have to be quiet. They have to meet emissions. They have to be all these things. Long live the old two-strokes. Yeah, definitely the old ones sounded better.
Mr. Guy with all the letters in his name. Arctic Cat Blast has a 400cc single two-stroke with 65 horsepower. Yeah, if that's the one somebody was talking about putting in the Catalyst, I don't think that's a good idea.
They've probably already done it. There's Sled Addicts. Hey, boys.
LeBlanc Group. When are we finally getting a heated brake lever so my fingers don't freeze every time I pretend I'm a factory racer? Dude, yes, please. Can you call somebody? I already have. Like, we've been talking about that for years.
To call somebody.
Well, I already have. Yeah. You know why they don't do it, though? There's actually a reason. I talked to the guys at Polaris years and years ago. It's because if it was too hot and you didn't want to keep your finger on it because it was too hot, or you took your finger off because it was too hot and then crashed, that can be a liability issue. I think that's a dumb idea, but, like, I get it because I'm the same way. I ride with a finger or two on the brake levers all the time, and my fingers freeze. Thank God for heated gloves now.
I was just about to say, buy a set of heated gloves.
Yeah.
Sell another house and buy a set of heated gloves.
Let's see. Next time you guys are in Valcourt, I'd like to meet you guys. I moved here to become a test rider inspired by watching your dad and you guys making a living doing what your passion is.
Nice.
Jody Turgot, that is super cool, man. That is such a cool thing to hear.
I was there like 3 weeks ago.
I mean, I will try my best to remember that because we do end up in Valcourt a lot, and it would be cool just to even go for lunch. So let's see if we can make that happen sometime. Obviously, my memory's bad. It'll probably be AJ, but we'll see.
Here's the question, though. You moved there to become a test rider.
Did you?
Did you become a test rider? Yeah. That's what I want to know.
I need to know the answer to that one.
Yeah.
Okay, for those of us who are ignorant or new to the sport, what's the most affordable time to buy a new or used sled? Is it before the snow flies or late in the season? I would say it's probably like midsummer when people got credit card bills coming up and they got to ditch their sled ASAP.
I say the same thing for snowmobiling to everybody that I say for if you want a skidoo or a watercraft. Sorry, I call everything that looks like a skidoo a skidoo. If you want to buy a skidoo, best time to buy it is when people are buying snowmobiles because those people are like, oh man, I'm not going to use it for a while. I'll sell it, and they'll sell it cheap. Best time to buy a snowmobile is when people are looking to buy skidoos because they're like, oh, I'll get rid of my sled. So I would say not the end of the season because people are like, we had a wicked season. This sled worked awesome. They still have that in their mind. This is worth way more than it is. Wait until the middle of summer. Pick something up then. Look for the guy who's trying to sell it in the middle of summer because he probably needs the money. And that, to me, is a great time. And I'm not saying go out and rip people off, but I mean, if you're looking to get the best deal on a used sled, buy it midsummer.
Yep.
I think that's a great time. If you wait until the snow flies, I have not seen more people more interested in snowmobiling than I have in the past 6 weeks. Everybody is flipping amped.
That's good.
The industry is on fire right now, and I think used sleds are going to be real pricey this winter. So that's a good thing for everybody who's got one. If you haven't bought one yet, I think you're late.
I think so too.
Sorry.
Lynx Rider. Thoughts on people buying these high option sleds with the best suspension available and complaining about how stiff they ride? Is it lack of knowledge or a bit off more they can chew? Okay, so there's 2 ways to look at that. Yeah. First of all, yes, it can be lack of knowledge and they set their suspension up wrong and therefore it rides like crap. Or, and this is in the case of a Lynx, you physically cannot set it up soft enough to ride really well for even like a mid-range rider, somebody who's not an expert but likes to ride fast, because even at 0 clicks of compression, it's still too stiff. So is it too stiff for Scandinavia? Apparently not, because that's how people want it. But there's a handful, I would say 3 or 2% of people who will ever be able to use Lynx suspension to its maximum capacity. And here's the other thing I always say. If the majority of Lynx buyers are riding it at 0 to 5 clicks of 22 clicks of compression, then it is way too stiff. Your hardest core rider should be in the middle, right? Shouldn't be at full soft.
I think that there should be a North America spec on Lynx snowmobiles. I don't
too.
see why you wouldn't do that.
Yep.
Don't make it as soft as a BR or as a skidoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make it stiffer, but I do think there should
But
probably
I think
be the option.
XRSs are too stiff too. Because when we ride XRSs, we have them at like 3 or 4 clicks of compression.
I'm not usually up in like the 16,
XCRs,
18
I'm
range.
always down at 3 or 4 or 5 clicks of compression. I never go higher than that.
We are older. I mean, we still ride fast, but I don't go out and jump like houses
I can crash
anymore.
like a young guy though.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't. I used to use an XRS. I remember one time being at a friend's house and we were like, "Hey, let's jump the house," and so we jumped like our 53-foot
I remember
race
that.
haulers and the whole thing, and then we used those clickers. But now I'm looking at it going, yeah, I think it's not needed to be quite as stiff for length. There should be a North American spec. I think that would be good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I say?
Where we at?
Should I tell the avalanche story?
I think we should steer clear of that one.
I mean, I lived.
Yeah, I know.
Wrecked, the Polaris was wrecked, but I was alive.
Yeah.
Okay, this is ready to go. Okay, good evening, guys. Thoughts on manufacturers bringing back older model names like TXL, Mach-Z, Firecat, etc. for regular release and not a one-time hit. So they can do that. I mean, Polaris did with Indy.
Yeah.
Skidoo did with what did they bring back?
Oh, the Blizzard.
Blizzard. Yep.
Although I
So
think it's gone now. No, it's still there, right? It's still there.
It's you know, it comes and goes, but when you've got something like a Mach-Z, like if you bring back a Mach-Z full time, I think you're kind of diluting the Mach-Z name. I think that names that are like iconic like that kind of need to stay special.
But Moxie was available for a while back.
It was like it was a
So-
total in-season model, but it just had such an iconic following that it's almost sad to bring it back full time and have it not be what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I thought it was
like
weird
Mach
that they.
1.
I thought it was weird they skipped Mach 1.
Yeah, I know.
You know, that was kind
Yeah.
of strange. But yeah, like things like Firecat. Would they bring back a Firecat? Well, a Firecat is what it is. If you bring back the name Firecat and put it on a sled that's not a Firecat, it's not a Firecat. So it's kind of like diluting the name, you know, taking away from it. When they brought back Jag,
If they bring back the Firecat, though, they should bring back plastic gas tanks where the steering posts connect to them and then break off of them. And then the whole chassis flexes.
and 13 wide tracks that make
But
you
they're super
roll over the
fast.
corner, though they
They
were that.
bullets.
like when they brought back Jag and put it on that big fat F chassis
Wait,
Arctic thing.
careful what you're saying,
Why?
because they brought back another one this year.
Jag?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, but it's awesome. It's a catalyst. It's a great sled.
It is. It's a great
that
sled.
big fat F chassis as a Jag was like, oh.
Yeah, the F chassis
Yeah,
was
anyway.
the F chassis was a big old sled, and then you know what? It actually worked okay. It wasn't bad sled. It just was heavy and it was big and it was a little cumbersome. Come on back and ride Franklin County. Sweet, you're gonna see a cool story in the first episode of SnowTrax, I believe.
There you go. If you pin an E-TEC, will it grenade after a few miles? No. An E-TEC of all the engines will probably last longest at full throttle because it's so precisely fueled. But they do blow up. Everything blows up. Everything has a
But
weak point.
very infrequently.
Very
An
infrequently.
E-TEC is an infrequent
Yeah.
flyer when it comes to blowing
Any
miles.
two-stroke motor will eventually blow up. I mean, unless they're rebuilt regularly, they just will. But that doesn't mean you can't get 10,000 miles out of one. And if you do a bottom end, it won't blow up. But if you just keep riding a two-stroke forever and ever and ever and do nothing to it, eventually it'll blow up.
Yeah, it will.
They'll just get loose. Everything inside just gets loose, and then they blow up. But like an E-TEC, if you're going to buy a two-stroke engine that you want to last a long time, that's the one to buy for sure.
I have ridden E-TECs of every generation. Every single E-TEC I have ridden and held them wide open for probably more than 5 minutes straight on Kevlar Lake. Literally,
yeah.
I have done that, and as
5 minutes.
yeah,
More than that.
like tapped wide open, just wah. And there was a couple of times where I was like, "Hey, this is a new motor. I'm just gonna hold it wide open for as long as I can until I have to get off of it because this is supposed to be." And that's probably not an engineering statistic that they go, "You know what? Let's hold this wide open for 6.5 minutes straight." But
No, they do.
you can do that.
They do.
No problem. I'm not going to tell you that the engine isn't going to get a little warm, but the cool thing is that an E-TEC will like pull out timing and it will throw more fuel at it and it's going to go, hey, temperatures are coming up. It'll give you a warning light and then it will, retard the timing and pull things back and
You
go,
can hold a
"Ooh, easy."
snowmobile wide open for well over 10 minutes on Kevlar, especially a 600. Like it could be up to
It's a
15 minutes
long
long to
flippin'
go from
ways.
one end to the other,
Yeah.
and you can just hold it wide open. I mean, try it.
Yeah.
See what
I've
happens.
done it for a lot of times.
Let me
but-
know.
Now, we're not going to say that one with 10,000 miles on it that's never been rebuilt is,
Probably don't
is
do that.
okay to do that with, but yeah.
I mean,
it won't
Cody
work.
had that Polaris 600. Remember that Polaris? What was that thing? XC. Dragon,
yeah,
the
the old-
white
yeah.
dragon. It had like
Yeah, yeah.
10,000 kilometers on it. He rode it for a whole season, didn't blow up.
Yep.
Okay.
We're skipping some. The best best sled of each brand over the decades. That's so hard. That's so hard.
Of each decade. Oh boy.
Each decade for each brand.
I would have to sit down with a pen and paper.
That's
and
an
I would have to think
episode.
about that. Yeah.
That's an episode.
Actually, didn't we do that?
I don't know.
Top fives.
Did we?
Yeah. You, me, and I think Dad.
Oh.
Last year. Pretty sure we did.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
But like top one, frig. I couldn't do that. I'd have 100.
Yeah, that's hard. It's not that I don't want to answer it. It's just I need to stop and think about that.
Okay, this is one I like. Northwood Snowmobiling LLC. Similar to the Lynx question, it seems like most people buy or overbuy power and suspension beyond their abilities, then complain about cost. Here's the thing.
It's not wrong.
I don't actually think it's the people buying those sleds who complain about cost. Because those people go out and they buy the sleds and they're just like, yeah, it costs a lot of money, but it was worth it. It's the people who, and I really don't want to insult anybody, but it's the people who wish they could buy that sled but can't, that complain about the cost. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, that makes perfect sense. That's human nature.
Or it's people, I find there's a lot of people, it's not that they can't buy the sled. They could go out and buy the sled if they wanted to, but they're watching their P's and their Q's, and they're maybe in retirement, and they're like, well, back in the day, I used to be able to buy it for this. And it's like, back in the day, we used to be able to buy a lot of things for this, but now you can't tell me that a pickup truck hasn't done the same thing. Like the average pickup truck in Canada is like $70,000, and that's not fully loaded or even that great.
2017 GMC pickup, and I paid 50 grand for it, and I bought a 2023 GMC pickup, and I paid $78,000 for it.
Yeah,
that's 6 years,
and not a lot changed between the two.
I mean, stuff changed, but it's not a
no, but like the level,
better.
The level of the truck.
It's not like I can tow more with one or the other, or it goes places the other one doesn't. It has a bigger screen. That's pretty much it, you know.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot of times people who want to have a better snowmobile and they would like to have that cool stuff, but they're going, it's just too much money. So instead of just buying a sled without all that technology, I'll complain about it.
I like this one. I asked David Feller 6384. I asked Levi about if he beefed up his suspension for the jumping he does, but he said it's all stock. Okay, yeah, that is true. I've actually talked to Levi about that as well.
But Levi weighs not. Dude
he's
is
this tall,
and
right?
he's like I don't know. I feel like he's like that guy from the Lego movie. Spaceship. Like he's just always amped to go do stuff. And
the thing about Levi is he might not be super tall, but I bet he weighs a ton.
Yeah, he's solid muscle.
Yeah, like you could hit him with a truck, and the truck could just bounce right off. But he also, though, the thing about Levi is that he knows how to land a jump.
Yeah.
Like even if
he knows how to land anything
except one.
Probably land a plane.
One jump he didn't land, but like pretty good. You know, I mean, does Levi compress the suspension completely on landing? Yeah, it's a statement about Polaris snowmobiles.
Does he compress it? That suspension completely wants to go right through his skull.
But like, do you think he revalves his shocks?
I kind of don't think when he's coming down from 75 feet that he's stock valving.
Stock valving.
He probably has a heavier spring on it. Like, I don't think he's just running dynamics and going, put it to performance. Like, I don't think so. I think it's probably a bit different.
He's got it in comfort mode.
He's got cement in there instead of shock oil.
Oh, man.
There was an interesting one. Oh, it was, Jody Turcotte. Yeah, 5 years now. Awesome. Cool. Well, congrats. That's cool. That's pretty wicked.
Oh, yeah, right. Follow up.
Testing sleds. That's
okay, this
awesome.
is an interesting one, the LeBlanc group.
Oh, I heard you talk about heated gloves before.
Oh.
What in your opinion is best heated glove? The ones I've tried have been very good.
Haven't been very good.
Oh, haven't been very good. Okay. So FXR makes a really good heated glove, and Climb makes a really good heated. Climb makes cool. Sorry, I'm just talking over you the whole time. I haven't been here for the past few weeks. Okay, I get my time on screen. But the Climb has their heated goggles, has their heated vest, has their heated gloves. They all use the same battery, and that's pretty cool. Yep. This winter, I'm actually using their heated like underlayer because I just thought that's going to be cool to try. And then the battery goes in their heated gloves and their heated goggles. So if you keep like 2 extra batteries on you or on your sled, you can heat anything.
The thing you have to realize about a lot of heated gloves, FXR one, you really need to understand this, is that they don't heat anything but the back of your hand. So realistically, if you're riding with 2 fingers on the brake lever, it will warm the back of your hand, but that's not where your hand gets cold. Your hand gets cold from the inside. So it doesn't really solve that problem. It doesn't hurt. It helps, but it doesn't solve the problem. The Climb gloves wrap around your fingertips. Yep. So you actually, your fingertips are completely encased in warmth. I haven't tried them, but I got to think that's going to work really good. And I ordered a pair as well. I'm looking forward to trying them this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. And I ride with heated gloves all the time now. I love them. And I have a set of probably 5-year-old FXR heated gloves that I still use. they still work, and they still work with the batteries.
Tanner's using the pair I gave him.
Yeah.
And those got to be going on 5-6 years now.
Yep.
They're like, they've been through the ringer, and
Mine
they
are
still work great.
Might have some holes through them and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing is that gloves, like predominantly, like Luke said, like heating on the back of your hands, the insulation is predominantly on the back of your fingertips, not on the palm, because if they weren't, then it would feel like, you wouldn't be able to feel anything. Yeah. So that's where you get a lot of that from. But I do like the look of the Climb ones, and we're going to tell you how they work later on this winter. But I would say that the FXR ones are great, and I don't know who else makes them at this point other than brands that are like skiing brands and things like that. I'm not sure who
which
else
I wouldn't
has them,
trust
so.
for snowmobiling at all. You don't want that heating in your palm on a snowmobile where you're gripping a handlebar, because eventually you're going to wear through it's going to wear through. It's going to end up touching your hand or something. It's going to just not work right. Yeah. So there's a reason they do it that way.
They were planning to come to the UP to do a riding segment.
Did.
Probably already.
Years ago. Like a million years ago I did that.
Yeah. And definitely we would come to any place to ride. Again, it sounds really like, oh, but why do you guys have to say that? Or, we do go where our sponsors take us.
I've explained this before.
Yeah, there's if a region wants to advertise their riding, we'll absolutely come up and do it. But the reality is we just don't have the time, because we're always doing obligations to just go somewhere just because. Now in March, we have some opportunity to do that and just go ride places and do fun stuff that we do sometimes. But during the season, and when it comes to doing things on the show, we go to places that are helping support our show and are sponsors of our show, because airtime isn't cheap, and neither is employing all of the video editors and videographers and all the people who work for us. So
yeah, that's right. We got people who got to feed their families, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where do you think the Yamaha guys will go?
Are you talking about the people from the actual?
No, I think people who bought Yamahas. Where are they going to go?
I think a lot of them went to Lynx, in my opinion. I think a lot of those guys were the kind of guys.
And I
who
think
wanted to
too, though, you just got to be realistic about this, because Yamaha was a 4-stroke company. All the sleds were 4 strokes, and a lot of people who rode Yamahas rode them because they were 4 strokes. I mean, guys would say it's because it's a Yamaha, but there was a lot of people riding Yamahas because
skidoo
they were 4 strokes.
Where they went.
So where are they going to go? Well, they're not going to go to Polaris, because Polaris doesn't have. It has one 4-stroke, but it's certainly not competing with the ones Yamaha had. Yeah. And Arctic Cat doesn't have one other than the Arctic Cat Yamaha 4 strokes. So if they didn't go there and buy an Arctic Cat version of what they had at Yamaha, then they had to go to Skidoo or Lynx, because they're the only ones with the motors. Skidoo in particular. Yeah. So I think a lot of those guys ended up at Skidoo. I do.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. BRP in some way, shape, or
form. BRP, yeah, for sure.
I think every 2-stroke Skidoo should come with a pull start. Well, I mean,
this was another one I answered.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, but it's just the way everything's going, to try to be lighter and try to save a little bit of probably production dollars and cents. And yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, a pull start's still a good thing.
Yep.
E-TEC is amazing. It was bought from OMC. Yeah, they did have the technology there that they went through, but they changed
OMC Orbital?
No, that was Mercury. There was Ficht
Mercury
injection.
Orbital.
Yeah, Ficht and Orbital, right? Those were the two, and then Skidoo did
but didn't Polaris buy one of them and they never used it? Polaris
I don't
bought
know,
Orbital.
There was one of them that used super high pressure. It was something crazy,
Orbital.
like 1200 psi or whatever. And if any of the lines broke, then it would
cut your hood in half.
Yeah, be a real bad day. So that wasn't going to work.
This is funny. Gonna ride my Yamahas until I can't get parts for them. I got to tell this story because it's awesome. When I was at Heydays, the last year Yamaha was there, so that was 2 years ago. They were there this year, but they didn't have any sleds. So 2 years ago, when I was at Heydays, we were in the booth. The whole atmosphere is really somber. Everybody was kind of upset, and totally understandable. But I was talking to this guy, and he was kind of wandering around looking dejected. And we got talking, and I was like, so what are you going to do? What are you going to buy next? He's like, well, I have a Viper right now, and I'm going to keep riding it till it dies. He said, I've got a Viper that I just traded in on a brand new Viper, and then I bought a second brand new Viper that's staying in the crate in my garage. And I'm going to ride the new one until it dies, crack the other one in the crate, ride it till it dies, and by that point I'll be too old to ride anyway, and I'm good. Okay. And I was like, A, that's crazy dedication, but also B, snowmobiles will evolve over that time.
That's some expendable income too.
To do it all at once?
Just to have them all sitting there, but that's cool. I mean, hey, I respect the guy. He likes his sled. He knows what he likes.
Likes his Yamaha. Yeah. There you go.
What is that? Agawa Rentals. We have, and they're a rental company, I'm guessing. We've pushed the 600 EFI to 13,000 miles. Wow, that's 20,000 kilometers. Skidoo has reliability. Now, the starter Bendix, that's a different story. Fair enough. That's not an E-TEC.
I met a guy who had a Yamaha Sidewinder, and he had 60,000 kilometers on it. So whatever that is in miles,
it's a lot.
Just under 40, I think, 1,000 miles. And he told me that he had replaced every chassis component on the whole sled at least once, sometimes 2 and 3 times, but never touched the motor.
Fair enough, yeah.
Never even opened the motor up. It was completely bone stock and never been touched.
That's cool.
Just regular oil changes.
Yeah.
That's
mean,
pretty
it's a
amazing.
4-stroke, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the guy who had the ATV with 100,000.
That's right.
Right?
The Honda.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing is when you talk about the starter Bendix, and I'm not assuming you're complaining about that, but
no, I think they are. They're saying the starter Bendix is a different story, that it's not good and it breaks.
Oh, well, I mean, some part's going to break after 13,000 miles. Stuff's going to break. Nothing lives that long. Not when you're doing what we do with stuff and riding them out in the conditions we're riding them in. But if it's something that breaks like every year, that's bad. But if you have to put in 13,000 miles, if you had to put 3 starter Bendix in, that's really not that bad because that's not really a super expensive thing to change.
Yeah.
So
Darren there said, I worry more about my belt exploding than an E-TEC motor letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah, amen to that. If you hold it wide open for that long, that belt's going to get some heat in it. And do skidoos have the belt temp sensor?
Just the mountain sleds do.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a cool idea, though. Yeah. They put it on their side-by-sides now, too, which is a really great idea.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, we are running out of time here. It is now 8:30, and we usually just go an hour and a half. So I think we're going to have to shut it down now.
Hold on, wait. I'm 62 and I've been riding for 50 years and always wanted to see sleds built. Does Skidoo let the public tour their plant? Yes, they do. You can go there. There's cool plant tours, and you can do the whole bit. You got to sign up for them, and you can go see the museum as well, and it's well worth doing.
Yep.
And you can see the reserve where they have all the cool prototype stuff from over the years that you can walk through and see. It's really cool. It's a good experience.
It's just not for Skidoo guys.
No, it's for anybody.
Everybody should go. Everybody should go to see the museum.
There's other brand sleds.
It's a really
there, too.
important piece of history because that's where it all started. But anyway,
Cool.
Okay, 8:30, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for AJ for coming out and joining us on this one. It's been a lot of fun. It's been cool to have his perspective and have the brothers getting to tell our stories. We will do this again. We will have Mark on at some point for sure.
Yep.
And I have a couple guys I want to bring on as well for you guys to meet over the next certain number of these things. But it's definitely fun to have new opinions, new perspectives, and while you're answering, I can read, and that makes my life a lot easier. But thank you again for joining us, guys. We really appreciate it. We have a ton of fun. I have a ton of fun doing this. This is like my favorite thing to do, getting to interact with you guys, and I know AJ loves it as well. We are currently heavy duty into producing SnowTrax for this coming season.
Oh, man.
We got so much cool content, some different kind of content that we're doing, lots of great stuff. Stay tuned. And we've got other ideas too for things outside, so just make sure you stay tuned. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That really does a big benefit to us, and it makes sure that you don't miss anything. Turn the bell on if you want to get notified when new stuff is updated, because it is going to be constantly now updated as the season goes on. Like the videos that you like. That shows us what we should do more of. And as well, comment, because again, you're commenting here. It's been super fun, and we really like hearing from you guys. So make sure you do all that stuff. I want to say another huge thank you to Skidoo for sponsoring this whole thing. These SnowTrax live segments have been really fun. Skidoo was the one who pushed us to do it. I'm so glad they did, and I can see us continuing to do this. Whatever happens in the future, I want to keep doing these. So thanks to them for their support, not just of this segment, but of our show, and being a great partner to work with as they have been for so long.
Speaking of that, JF Leclerc's in there. That's awesome. Cool.
Oh, hi. Yeah. So anyway, we had a great time. Thanks for joining, guys, and we will see you in 2 weeks on Tuesday at 7 p.m. again. So same bat time, same bat channel. And may not be AJ here, might be somebody else, might just be me. We don't know, but we'll definitely see you guys here. Please keep your questions, write them down, get them ready for us, and we'll do our best. So thanks for joining us, guys, and we will see you on the next one.